Alderman Coles, Alderman Lewitton, Alderman Felice,
Here.
Alderman Shockey,
Here.
Alderman Eugene Wesley,
Here.
Alderman Roy Wesley,
Here.
Alderman Winger,
Here.
Mayor Johnson.
Here. Quorum being present, would you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? May I have a motion to approve the minutes of September 16th, 2010?
So move.
Is there a second on the question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of September 22, 2010?
Make the motion.
Is there a second
Second.
on the question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I
Motion-
abstain.
One abstention, Alderman Winger. Motion carries. Do any citizens wish to address the city council this evening? If so, Mr. Lombardi, if you go to the podium and state your name and address, please.
Sal Lombardi, 143 South Central. Also have another property in town, and it's sad that I want to talk to you about real quick. Each of you should have gotten a letter by email. If you have any questions on that letter, or if you didn't get it, let me know. I will resend it. If you have any questions, if I can be of any assistance, if you'd like to schedule a visit, please call me on any one of the numbers, myself or my wife Kimberly. And I just want to thank you all for your consideration. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. I do have some new information. Since I met with your wife on this subject, Alderman Cadella and I attended a meeting at Congressman Roskim's office, and we were advised by FEMA and IEMA representatives that there has been a $120 million grant to Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, specifically dedicated for remediation of the 2008 flood. So we immediately, after finding out about that, contacted our lobbyist, Scott Marcourt, and he has begun the process of filing the appropriate paperwork for a grant. I met with Representative Rebeletti on Wednesday. He is endorsing our grant application, and we are hoping that that will provide funding for remediation throughout Wooddale. I put in a request for $6 million in flood mediation to buy out various homes and structures along the creek, and also possible contribution to the Bussey Woods Dam modification. So we're hopeful that we can move on that pretty quickly.
Thank you very much. Let me know if I can be of any assistance with that at all.
You probably can.
Okay.
Does anyone else wish to address the city council this evening? If not, I do not have any written communiques under mayor's report. Council, I'd like to place before you an ordinance amending section 2.402, chapter 2 of the City of Wooddale Municipal Code to provide for a decrease in the salary of the city treasurer. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? On the question, certainly our city treasurer has done an outstanding job for us. However, the function of the city treasurer, I think as all of you know, basically doesn't exist anymore. 30 years ago, our city treasurer, when it was Mert Sisla, is that right? Chesla? Actually took in the income and actually paid the bills, but now since we've gone to a full-time finance director, there basically is no function to this office anymore. So therefore, that's why I placed this ordinance before you. Any other comments or questions? Alderman Winger.
I wish I had some time to research this beforehand, so I'm going to ask a question, and I may ask for a little time to try and search on the ordinances, but by ordinance, I thought there were functions that the treasurer should perform. So do we know what the written words are on that? And maybe it is a matter of asking to conform to those written words or modifying them before we change his salary.
Mr. Bond.
Yeah, there are a couple of statutory functions that the treasurer is required to perform, but the law allows, and this has happened in a number of other communities, so the municipal code was actually amended to allow the city council to designate a person. Generally, you designate your city manager to execute in those instances, and it's only a very small number of instances. Some grants require a treasurer certification, but what you would do is if for some reason you didn't have that position or that position was open, you'd simply, as a council, would identify the manager in that capacity. What you've got before you is simply an ordinance amending the salary for the city treasurer. The municipal code also has a provision that if you are going to alter up or down the salary of any elected officials, that you have to do that 180 days prior to that individual assuming the office. So this is the last opportunity you have if you're going to make any changes to the salary of the office of treasurer. Beyond the meeting tonight, it would be too late under the municipal code.
Well, my response would be, if I may, Mr. Mayor, but what I would like to see is that we look at those functions and determine, maybe I do want them to be performed by the treasurer. Maybe it will be appropriate that, I believe we really haven't reviewed that as a council on what is the responsibility versus what we want administration to perform. So I would like the time to do that, and maybe we revise for the next term then. But I don't want to be real hasty in this decision.
Certainly we have that right, and if this wasn't the last day we could have done this, I would have tried to put this on your committee first for further discussion. The DuPage mayors and managers did do a salary survey, and I don't know if Mr. Wilson can recall the facts or not, but very few towns even have the position of a city treasurer anymore. Most of them eliminated. Mr. Wilson, do you recall of the, or Mr. Douthwaite apparently has the answer.
The DuPage Mayors and Managers Commission conducted a survey earlier this year of about 25 municipalities. 3 of the 25 paid their city treasurers. The other ones either did not exist or were non-paid. Wooddale was $7,200 a year. There was another city, I can't recall which one, $5,400, and another one at $2,400. So of the 3 cities of the 25 surveyed, only 3 paid, and we're substantially above the average, so to speak, if you can call 3 an average.
Alderman Winger?
So just in closing, that just hearing briefly some of the instances where a city treasurer would be invoked or responsible for was, I believe, grant signing. And in the past, several years ago, we've had experiences with sending money back because it wasn't followed up on, and I'm not saying under this administration, under Mr. Douthwaite, but under other administrations. And if you do have that oversight and that responsibility on a political or on an elected official, I think that could help. So just that one instance alone, I believe, is an argument to see, do we want to make that position more robust and therefore earning the $7,200? So it's, you know, I realize I'm only one vote, but I don't want to jump to a decision on it yet. Thank you.
Anything further? Roll call.
Alderman R. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Winger.
No.
Alderman Cadella.
Yes.
Alderman Shockey.
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Police.
Yes.
All right, that passes as ordinance O-10-13, and that concludes my report. Mr. Manager?
Just one, excuse me, one item of information. You've probably seen that election season is upon us, and the yard signs are proliferating like rabbits. I just want to make everyone aware of the city ordinance with respect to those. Yard signs are legal, do not require a permit. However, they're not allowed in city right-of-way. That is to say, between the sidewalk and the curb. And our past practice has been that if we find political signs either on city property or within public right-of-way, we will remove them. So if your neighbors are putting those out in the right-of-way, please advise them that they need to be back behind the sidewalk on their own private property. And just FYI, it's only a month away and they're about to sprout. No other report, Mayor.
That brings us to the consent agenda, as there is only one item on it. May I have a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a certain labor agreement between the City of Wooddale and the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, Local 714. Is there such a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Alderman R. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Winger.
Yes.
Alderman Cadella.
Yes.
Alderman Shockey.
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Police.
Yes.
That's approved as Resolution R-10-15. That brings us to committee chairman reports, Planning, Zoning, and Building, Alderman Cadella.
No report.
Public Health, Safety, and Judiciary, Alderman Shockey.
No report.
Public Works, Alderman Westlake.
Mayor, I have one report. A ordinance authorizing sale of personal property owned by the city of Wooddale. It's vehicles.
Is that a motion to approve?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Alderman R. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Winger.
Yes.
Alderman Cadella.
Yes.
Alderman Shockey.
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Police.
Yes.
That's approved as ordinance O-10-14. Does that include your report?
Yes, Mayor.
Finance and Administration, Alderman Winger.
I have no report.
I do not have any other business. Brings us to bills, Alderman Winger.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a list of bills dated October 7, 2010 for $945,079.75.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the question? Alderman Shockey.
Yes, I do have a question about it. It's a $20,699 bill, but if you look back, the contract amount is $800,000. $800,000 to engineer either an upgraded treatment plant or a full new treatment plant. That $800,000 covers spending $38 million, conservatively, $38 million for a new plant. That new plant would be enough to have 40,000 more people move into town. You could take every house in this town, in this city, and make it a 4-flat, and that's still not going to be 40,000 more people. We are spending $800,000. That's costing each of our citizens $571 per citizen just for the study. If we built this plant, it would be about $14,500 additional to each resident in Wooddale. $14,500, approximately, very conservatively, $193 per month, though that's very, very conservative. We're a town of 14,500 people. If we can have the plant upgraded and do enough for the next 20 years or 25 years, which is part of the contract we have, that would be sufficient, and it's not going to be, we're not going to have to add additional monies to our water bills for our citizens. I've already heard complaints about our new raises on the water bills. Now, I can just imagine what would happen if we're having these raises, plus we're going to have to tack on almost $200 a month for each individual to build a $38 million treatment plant. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. You know, it makes, if I may quote an alderman who so eloquently said, this makes us look like we're all in on something. The people need to know what's happening. Well, we're finally, I'm telling what's happening here. The mayor mentioned it at the Wooddale meeting yesterday and asked the audience how many there would go for this new plant, and there were just 2 or 3 people that raised their hands. The rest of them said no.
Mayor, point of order. The question was on the bill, not to get on the debate on treatment plant. It's on the agenda for the 28th, please.
Okay, I'll wrap it up. If we're going to continue with this contract, I'm going to vote no on all the bills.
Point of order again, Mayor.
All right, my understanding is this is going to be discussed on the Public Works agenda, October 28th, 2010. Anything further on the bills?
Thank you.
Roll call.
Alderman R. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Winger.
Yes.
Alderman Cadella.
Yes.
Alderman Shockey.
No?
Alderman E. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Police.
Yes.
That item is approved. Staff is not ready on the item that we thought we were going to discuss in executive session. We do not need executive session tonight. There are no items to be referred under items for information only. We want to remind everybody, I'll recognize you in a minute, want to remind everybody of Halloween hours on Sunday, 10/31 from 2 to 7. And I want to remind everybody of the Veterans Breakfast, which will be November 6th from 8 to 10, courtesy of 8 to 10:30, thank you, courtesy of Itasca Bank at the Salt Creek Country Club, and the memorial service will follow at 11 a.m., weather permitting, at the Veterans Memorial. Alderman Wesley?
Mr. City Manager, could you give us an update on the UVerse?
I'm sorry, an update on what?
UVerse, the AT&T?
No, I can't. Mr. Murmas has been handling that. I will get back to you tomorrow. He or I will get back to you tomorrow on that.
Mr. Wilson, I know you've been working on that. Could you answer that?
If you're talking about the availability of the public access channel, unfortunately, my answer is the same as Manager Douthwaite's.
Okay. I'd like an answer on that tomorrow if possible. Thank you.
If there's nothing further, may I have a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.